Welcome back to All the Crackers in the Box. Hi, it's me, your friend Corey. And yeah, I'm just flabbergasted at my own silliness. I wasted a whole bunch of time on a project and now I'm redoing it again because, as usual, I had to make a rookie mistake and I didn't really commit to the mistake. It was far too late. So let's hang out and find out about how I failed myself again. Glad you're here today. Okay, so I'm just going to say size matters. Size matters. I'm making an owl. I wanted a little owl. I finished the body before I got the wings or anything done on this, and look at the size of this thing. This is not a small owl. This thing weighs a lot, and I didn't even really stuff it that badly because by the time I started stuffing it, I was like, you know what? I'm really feeling this is more like a hat size. Like I could put this on a little kid's head. By the way, my mom thinks it looks like a pink minion, so I'm a little disappointed in that. But I also don't have the wings done. So I took another yarn and I went down half a size. I'm just going to show you the size difference. This is already coming out quite a bit smaller. And I did the eyes. This one's done here. The difference in the eyes. I think it's quite a bit different. So this is a 4-weight that I used for this one. And I used a 3.5. And it is really, 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 really way too big. So this guy's going to have to be taken apart. Super disappointed. This took me a couple days because there's like 12 rows of 72. And it was quite a lot of stitching. Quite a lot. But it is not working. And it is heavy. I'm going to put that down carefully so it doesn't make a lot of noise on the floor. So with this one, I'm going to have to soften this one up. A little bit crustier. It's a bit of an older one, but it is like at least a 3. Probably about a 3. And I used a size 3. And so far, it's fit on a doll's head, not a baby. So, size matters. Size matters. A lot of times I see these patterns and I'm like, no, 3.5 will work because I'm always about my 3.5. And I should have used a smaller one for this one because this one definitely one of the first times that it's really made that much of a difference that I really was disappointed. Like a lot of times, like my fish one where he was drinking the SpongeBob fish that's drinking out of a cup, I felt he was a little big. I felt he was a little bit big. And I probably should have used a smaller hook for him. So I'll probably be using my 3 and my 2.5 a little bit more than I have been. So, and yeah. Good lesson. I mean, I knew it, but not knew it. See, in some aspects, I feel like I know some intermediate things, and then there's certain things that just haven't really made that much sense to me yet. So with the eyes, all I did was a magic circle, and I put in 6 stitches. I like 6. I think it looks really good. The eye started off with 6 anyway, so I thought that would be a really good way to match it up. And I'm just going over the middle, and I'm making sure that the edges of them are really enforced because I'm at the point where I'm supposed to be putting the eyes on. And I'm trying to make sure we're keeping a nice round shape by shaping it as I'm sewing it in. So I'm really working hard on getting better at my sewing. So I'm being a lot more careful about where I'm stitching and how I'm stitching. Which will come in handy because pretty soon I gotta put the last bit to finish the Halloween bags I started last year. I've not been looking forward to it. I've been putting it off. I gotta finish one handle. And I also have to embroider on the stems for the pumpkins. I got everything else done, except for maybe a liner. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'll just go find an old t-shirt and sew the bottom, just put that in. It's big enough. I'm sure I've got a couple old t-shirts hanging about. Okay, that one really didn't want to come through, which is kind of a good sign because then it's going to stay where it is. So I've got quite a few projects coming up that failed me in one way or another, so they're going to be a little more frogging happening soon. So I can either redo them or just scrap it completely, depending on how I feel. A couple of them, yes, no. I made my daughter one of the granny square cocoons, and she just straight up does not like it. Made one for my mom, and my mom made me one, and mine stretched so much that I can't wear it. It comes down to like mid-calf now. It didn't when she first made it for me. So, I'm not very excited about how that has held up. Live and learn. So, we have two beautiful eyes. Looks like, oh, I have to cut off some of the ends here. That one's already been pushed in, but this one has not been secured. And this is just a long tail because I took apart what I made with 3.5, and this is what is left after remaking it with a 3. So it is quite a bit of size difference. That right there tells me that it's a big difference. Okay, let's go through here. And we're going to go through here. What I'm doing is just weaving in my ends a little because it is going to be buried. But I would like to make sure that it's going to be nice and secure. And I seem to be pretty good at that, even though I'm trying to take apart some stuff I've made before, and wow, it is really not the easiest thing. Like, I think the store-bought sweaters are pretty hard to take apart here and there. But man, I gotta say, I really am quite good at getting my ends in. Not better than I thought I was. Because I'm always worried that they're going to come apart eventually. You know, washing and all that kind of stuff. Wear and tear. So, a good size knot. Let's take a look at our eyes here. How are we looking? Looking good? Ooh. Okay, so we're going to cut the white off. Okay. Now we're going to cut off the blacks. I'm just going to be using the purple to put them on. Now we have to go to between actually it is, I'm going to get two of the longer ones here. And we're just going to pop these in. I like to use the shorter ones because they do come in different lengths. I like to use the shorter ones to do my actual embroidery. If it were a sweater, I'd be using one of the long ones, that's for sure. But I like the long ones because I can use them, like, to make them big knitting ones with all the stuff on them to hold your pieces together. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that is row 11. Row 11, and then it's 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's what it was. Okay, so row 11 is right here. 1, 2, 3 is right there. Okay, so, and that is to place the eye where I want it. Then I'm going to put 2, and I'm going to put it over here. My starting line is still going to be in the back. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. So, I know, not the most exciting part. This part's getting done because this is a whole one piece, and you need to get the eyes on beforehand. I don't want to put the eyes on after, because that is just just a big pain in the tukish. I forgot to trim this end. And tuck all that, and tuck all that. Now what I did last time, oh, that's right. That's what I did. I took this part here, by this part here, I took underneath what's left of some of the black, and I just popped it through. So we're through on the inside. Okay, now remember, when you're doing amigurumi, be a little bit forgiving with your sewing on the inside. No one's gonna see it, so you can put the ugly knots in there. You can really get away with quite a bit. Okay, so we're gonna leave that open for now in case I change my mind, but I doubt it because this looks like exactly where I wanted it. And I still have to knot the top part too. So to end this, all I did was a simple slip knot. So you're gonna want to take this, and you're gonna want to close off that stitch so it's not as noticeable by going through and around. So I just finished closing that. I will show you on the other one what I mean. So I might actually stand up for this. I'm a crazy braid. I'm getting all wild over here. You pop through. And I got these needles off Temu, and I'm quite happy with them. They have held up really well so far. A lot better than some of my plastic ones. So right here, you can see that it's a little bit open in there. You want to come behind to finish closing it, and then through the other side, and that'll give you a nice tighter seal to it. Right in here, you can barely see where I ended, and that's exactly what you kind of want to do. Like I said, my sewing is not perfect. I know I've seen people to get a little fancier than that, but that works for me every time. I find it works really well, especially with kids' toys, because I want to make sure that there aren't any really weak spots. So, all I'm doing with this, we're just going to Make sure that stays out of my way, because you're not supposed to cut it. You are supposed to ignore that while you sew this on. Okay. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one. I did. Okay, because I was going by feel. I grabbed my pin that's holding it in place. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go this way instead then. And I try my best to get between my stitches instead of forcing my way through the middle of the stitch. So if I change my mind and I want to take it apart and I've ripped through a stitch, it is totally mangled. And those can be really tricky to fluff out again and make look good, because you've lost a little bit of your tension by loosening up that stitch a bit. I'm just gonna try to, yep, right there. This one is gonna go backwards, which I take a little bit of the technique of back stitching from cross stitching, where you go around outlining your picture, which a lot of people hate, but you do one stitch forward and one stitch back. That's why it's called back stitching. But I find it's really good for securing. It really does make a difference. So I'll go down the next set and come backwards and then go underneath. So then it's really nice and secure. It uses a little bit more of your yarn or your floss, depending on what you're making. And I have found it to be a very, very good technique when it comes to this. Especially if you're securing things like eyes, cheeks, that kind of thing. You really want to make sure that they're going to stay on. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed, but little kids pick at things. They pick. So if you're planning on selling this or giving it to a small child, you definitely want to make sure that this is going to stay on. Even if you're giving it to an adult, some adults really don't lose that habit. They just get bigger, that's all. Okay, so, well, I'm going to continue working on this. By the time I see you next, I should probably be working on the feathers, which I'm super, super excited about. I haven't done a good dragon scale stitch in a long time. So I'm going to say thanks for joining me here at All the Crackers in the Box, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.